everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Don't forget to check out our merch store. We have the link in the description below. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Today, I am going through our Q&A questions that everybody sent in. So I'm gonna go find Alan and get started. We had a lot of questions from people asking about the history of the farm. And instead of Alan just doing a brief rundown, we decided that we would do a more in-depth video with that. So stay tuned for that. So when did you start on your farm?
Well, I guess I've been here most of my life, but I got my first milking cows in the fall of 2006, so that's when I started dairying on my own. But prior to that, I helped my grandpa for, well, since the early 90s probably, so I've pretty much, like I said, this is where I always wanted to be.
Have you done everything you wanted to up until this point?
Pretty much. Kind of, there's improvements I would have liked to have made by now, but just financially didn't allow. But no, I think we're going on track kind of like I wanted to.
With a mixed breed herd, what is your butter fat running?
Right now it's kind of been moving around a little bit because we've changed some feed, but butter fat's been about 4.3, I would have to say on average.
What's the highest your butter fat's ever been?
The highest, I've been a little over 5, but I did have more Jersey at that time.
What are the key things that you do or have done that make you successful in dairy?
I would say the biggest thing is probably just kind of watch what you spend. You know, around here we do a lot of using what we have, and some people don't like that, but it's worked for us.
Then this one's somewhat related. How exactly did you start, and how would you recommend starting today?
Well, I started, this was my grandpa's farm, and I had been helping him and kind of took over from him. The milk cows weren't here. He had sold out for a couple of years, but a lot of the equipment was here. All the haying equipment, farming equipment, that was pretty much all here. I have bought some since, but it's hard to say today because it's a lot different than when I started even. You know, when I started with 12 cows I had bought, but the creameries were looking for milk then. You know, now I don't know, that's a big thing right there, is first making sure you have a market for it. Because if somebody was going to start out in this area today with 12 cows, I don't think you'd find anybody to even pick you up. But again, you know, start out, try to keep things as cheap as possible. You don't want to cheap out on your cows. You know, if you're going to spend money, you know, I would spend it on, you know, finding good genetics, trying to get the best feed you can. But you know, shiny equipment doesn't always pay the bills.
Why do you not have a TMR mixer?
Just nothing I ever felt was going to work really for our size of herd. They're a really nice way to feed, but with only having, you know, 40 cows, a full TMR mix, it's too hard to, I guess I want to say, regulate it. You're feeding a full TMR mix with all your grain and everything in there. You know, your top cows are going to be getting shorted a little, and your lower end cows are going to be getting fed way more than they should. This way, I get my forages mixed, and then I just put my grain on after, so I can regulate each cow. I know what they're milking. I can grain them accordingly. A TMR, if I could find one cheap enough, I would buy one, just because they are going to have a more consistent mix than this wagon. And I do have to say a scale would be a nice addition to have. But just a TMR, just to go and buy one for our size herd, not really feasible. And I know they make smaller, like feed cart type ones, but I don't know how well they would work in our barn, the way it's set up either.
We had a question about the fair video that we did with the class that our youngest son was in at the time, and what class that was. At our county fair, we have a Little Britches class. It's an open class thing. The county ADA helps give little prize packages out for the kids for that. And that's basically as soon as you want to bring them out there leading a calf all the way up to 9 years of age, they can do the little britches class. Our county 4-H also has the Clover Bud program. So that would be from kindergarten to 2nd grade. Then you can do the Clover Bud showing class. And so, yeah, they work out really nice. We get a big group of kids for the little britches class every year.
Most of the time it's the adults showing.
Well, maybe.
I think when I took Justin, he played in the sand and I held the calf.
Probably.
But it is good experience for him to get out there and get used to being around the judge and being around that kind of stuff.
But yeah, it's fun for them. They like it. What happens to the older cows when they no longer produce adequate milk for production? Can they be made for beef?
Yeah, we all depends on the cow. A lot of our cows, if they are just not producing to pay their bills, we've sold a lot of them for family milk cows if they're a good tempered cow. Otherwise, we have we send them right to Long Prairie Packing. It's a packing house. It's just, they don't go through the sale barn, anything like that. We have occasionally send some through the sale barn, but most of them go there.
It's less stressful on the cow.
Yeah, than going through a sale barn. They're getting moved a bunch of times, and this way they get on the trailer here, they get off there, and but if we can, if it's a good cow, and you know, I don't sell any cows to people for that I don't trust someone to hand milk, but we have sold a lot of cows for that.
How do you make a decent living off milk cows, or is there another income than the cows?
Well, right now, our YouTube channel has actually kind of become a decent little second income for us.
Thank you to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you all for that. Without you guys, it wouldn't be. But I have on and off worked off the farm. There was it 2 years ago? I did do drove school bus a little bit. Money got a little bit tight. Right now, it seems like we're doing pretty well, but
well, even when we started the channel, I was working on
yeah, when we started, yeah, Jen had taken a job off the farm a little bit, and then but that's one thing nice with a farm this size is if things do get a little bit tight or you need a little extra cash for something, you can pick up something like that. You know, if we were milking 80, 100 cows or more, you can't do that, you know, and you're paying employees and stuff besides. And we're nice. It's nice here. You know, my dad helps a lot. My brothers, the kids are getting big enough now. They help. You know, Jen, everybody's out in the barn. So that makes a big difference, you know. If I had to hire that many people, definitely wouldn't make it. But a lot of it's just, you know, watching what you buy, you know. I mean, I could go out and buy all brand new equipment and have big loans at the bank, but pretty much everything here is paid for. So that's a big deal right there.
How many acres do you own?
We have 60 acres with the farm here. That's there's about 20 acres of that is tillable, but then we rent, what did I figure, a couple hundred acres tillable land, a little bit over. I don't have exact number on it, but yeah, we rent most of our tillable land. And then my mom and dad, we do buy some hay from them occasionally. They make hay over there, and my dad just runs a few beef cattle and horses, so a lot of times he has extra hay, so that helps a lot too.
And we've also run heifers.
Oh yeah, and then we do pasture some of our heifers and stuff over there, if he's got extra pasture. So, and then my grandpa, he has a lot of fields around us. He still puts up some hay, kind of some side money for him. He sells some hay. Sometimes we buy some hay or corn from him also if we need. So,
how long have you been running IH equipment?
Well, pretty much my whole life, I suppose. When I was a real little kid, the only international tractor or farm all around here was that little B. But then my grandpa bought that 1256. Oh, I was probably 5 or 6 years old when he bought that. So whenever I was old enough to start running, that's about as long as I've been. And then he bought this about, what, probably 10 years ago, I would say. Yeah, because Jessica was just little. So, but my grandpa was never, I wouldn't say really brand loyal. If you found a tractor that seemed like a good tractor and a good deal, he didn't really care what color it was. That's, you know, a lot of case around here, three of them. And
okay, that'll lead into the next question here. When will you buy a John Deere?
I don't know. I may never buy one, but there's one here already. We got this little 820. My great grandpa actually bought that brand new, I believe in '68. Most of you watch the channel know that my favorite is red tractors, but this little John Deere here is it's worth its weight in gold. I will say that. It's very easy on fuel. It's a little 3-cylinder diesel. This tractor, I think this tractor has over its life done every job on the farm. Square baled. Our old round baler before this one was a little smaller. Ran that. It's chopped corn. It's cuts all the hay. Rakes all the hay pretty much. So yeah, it's definitely a good tractor. I can't take anything away from it.
Does Jen make you like John Deere?
No.
You're too stubborn. Too stubborn to listen.
I'm not converting her to red, but she is starting to convert to Oliver, so that's going the right way, I think.
We had a question about the massive beast. If you knew what year or how many hours were on it.
The year, I don't know. I was actually just looking at the serial number, but the tag is got old fuel and stuff baked on it, so I couldn't get the number. The hours, the hour meter showing like 3,844. That's a little bit off because the tack had quit working for a little while, but it's pretty close, I think. And I know the previous owner, before my grandpa bought this, the engine had gone through some of these kind of common that they would have electrolysis and would take out a cylinder, cause trouble that way. So he had the whole engine gone through. So as far as engine hours, I don't know exactly what they are, but.
Now, I know we're going to get this question. The crooked air stack.
This tractor originally came from North Dakota, and they have substantially less trees out there than we do here. So that's why that stack looks like that.
Because you hit a tree? Branches.
I didn't run into a tree, but...
And you've tried fixing it.
I've tried straightening it, yes. I think I'm probably just going to get rid of it. I understand the concept behind it. It's kind of a pre-cleaner, but it's in the way visibility-wise, and yeah, it's just going to keep getting hit on stuff. So
it adds to the character. Everyone's going to recognize our 1066.
We have had comments about straightening it, and I've tried a couple times to straighten it, and it doesn't want to move.
Do you have any plans on putting up any new buildings in the near future?
Well, if you've been following the channel, this spot here, we had a Quonset machine shed here that had caved in. I definitely would like to replace that with something, but for right now, prices are so high of building materials and things. I think my main goal, a lot of the buildings that are around here need repair. So I think I'm going to focus more on getting the buildings that are here cleaned out and kind of sturdied back up and make more use out of them for the time being.
Okay, so do you want to get any bigger, or do you like the size you're at?
Well, I don't want to get any bigger. I mean, if I could keep making it good, milking 30 cows or so, that's where I don't have any desire to get bigger than that, but I think the way things are, it's going to have to be expansion. I don't know. I don't ever see us getting over 60 head. Just, I don't really have any desire to get any bigger than that, and I don't think this area is going to support that. I think land is a little too hard to come by for crops and things like that, and yeah, it's just kind of the way things are set up around here.
So if you did get bigger, would you build a freestall barn and then have a parlor, or would you continue to milk in tie stalls?
We've kind of talked about all those options. I think the best thing for us to do would be some sort of a freestall barn. And then for the housing, I'd have a freestall, but then also have available for pasture. So like this time of the year, it's really muddy. They would just stay in the freestall. But I don't know if I would put in a parlor. I think I would just switch out cows in the stall barn, pretty much like it is. If I did anything, I would maybe put in a step-up parlor. I don't know if I would go as far as putting in like a pit parlor or anything like that. Just because the dairy market around here is kind of up in the air right now. So you don't want to put a big investment into it and then something falls out that way.
Why did you buy the farm from your grandpa and not your dad?
Well, my grandpa was farming here. My parents, we helped here a lot, but they had their own farm a couple miles from here. And my dad worked off the farm. They had beef cattle and horses, but they were still actively farming. My grandpa was getting ready. He wanted to, see the farm continue to be farmed. But it was just, more than he could handle on his own. So me and him farmed together here quite a while. His health is bad now, so he doesn't get out too much, but it worked out best over here, I guess. And there was a dairy set up here. I wanted a dairy farm. There was no dairy left at my parents' place anymore. That was all done. There hadn't been cattle milked there since long before they bought it. So,
what has been the best round baler you've owned?
This one? This is about the only round baler we've had. Before this, my grandpa had an older New Holland chain baler. I don't remember the number, but it was smaller than this. I want to say like an 847, something like that. But he bought this new in 91, and this is the only round baler we had here till I bought that little international baler a couple of years ago, and I mainly just bought that for doing the baleage hay, the wetter hay. My folks have a newer Vermeer baler. I have ran that a couple times, and that's a nice baler. But like I said, they've made a lot of improvements since this one has been made, but I can't talk too much on other balers because this is about the only one I've ever ran. So, but I will say it was a big improvement from the old chain balers. This was, I think, the last year they had the chain baler, so it's got the airbag tension and stuff over the springs, but I can't compare too much.
Did Jen grow up in the region? No, I did not. I grew up in southeastern Minnesota. My hometown's claim to fame was that they were the sinkhole capital of the USA. So if you can look that up, then you'll know where I'm from. My family, we moved up here in the summer of 2004. And how did we meet?
Well, you guys moved in, about a mile down the road from my parents. So I guess that's kind of how we met, neighbors first. And
well, you saw my dad unload the John Deere.
Yeah, I had stopped over and see the new neighbors and went from there.
He was snooping to see who the new neighbors were, and he saw my dad's John Deere tractors. See? Instant attraction.
To see what kind of riffraff was in the area.
Where was your first date?
Well, I'll let you determine that.
I don't know what technically qualified as the first date.
Well, we went to a movie, but we weren't technically dating at that time.
No. I wanted to go see a scary movie, and Alan's sister was my best friend, and she didn't want to go.
No,
so,
she doesn't like scary movies at all. Of course, this movie was kind of lame anyway.
But I would say once we finally made it official, then I think I helped you bleed the brakes on your dump truck. And then we went to a mud bog and things like that.
And you helped put in a barn cleaner chain?
I helped put in barn cleaner chain.
That's how you know you got the one.
When did I realize that I could be a farm wife and farmer? I never wanted to be a dairy farmer. Where I grew up, there was dairy farms. My mom and dad will attest to the fact that I said I would never marry a dairy farmer. And then Alan said he wanted to be a dairy farmer, and I said, sure, let's go for it. I knew nothing about cows when we started. My family raised Appaloosa horses, and then my dad would grow corn and soybeans. We had a small farm. He really liked the older John Deere equipment. I had a John Deere 70 growing up. My dad had a B. He had a G, an A. We bought a D. He had a 40/20. My dad would go tractor pulling almost every weekend. And so I'm familiar with agriculture. The actual farming was new to me with the dairy cows. But I fell in love with the cows. That was probably the first thing. I was kind of timid around them, but then when you started learning how to milk them and be around them, then I just dove right in, and I couldn't learn enough about them. I wanted to learn more and do more. And
now, well, we're pretty much all AI breeding now, other than a little bit to an Angus bull here or there. But I don't AI breed. My dad always did if I needed some done, and now you pretty much do all the AIing now.
Yeah, I went down to the Northeast Iowa Dairy Center in Kalmar and got certified. And Alan's dad was huge in helping me once I got back to the farm, making sure I was getting it done. And yeah, so I really do enjoy cows. I enjoy spending time with them. And the tractors are not my favorite. Field work is not my favorite. I think one of the first times I drove a tractor here, I ran it into the gas barrel. So I'm not 100% in love with tractors. I like the look of them, but they're still kind of scary to me. But so not so much on the field work part. Okay, so how did you propose? So we went out for dinner, and all of a sudden Alan said he couldn't find the checkbook. So he went and left, and I'm sitting at the table in the restaurant thinking, oh my gosh, we are going to have to wash dishes or something to pay for our meal. And it took him, it seemed like forever to come back. And he came back with the checkbook, paid for our dinner. And then we went out to the parking lot, and I looked in he had a little Ranger at that time. And there was the biggest Valentine's Day card there ever. It was huge. And so I turned around after seeing that, and then he was down on one knee. And the rest was history after that. Probably
not real romantic, but it was about my speed.
Yeah, not romantic at all. If there's any guys that are looking to propose, don't do that. Is there anything that we do that makes the kids go, ew?
No, I don't think so.
They're very possessive of me. If Alan tries to kiss or hug, he gets yelled at that I'm their woman.
There's video of that.
Yeah.
Except for Jordan.
Jordan, yeah, he's yours.
Jordan would probably throw you under the bus for me, but...
Yeah. Jason and Joshua. Joshua's planning on marrying me, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out yet.
Justin, he tries to play the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Jessica's probably more me. But
she gets grossed out if we kiss.
Yeah, she's probably about the only one.
Yeah. How much has production increased since you started the channel?
Well, we just looked into this actually. What was it? Rolling herd average in the last 3 years
has gone up 5,000 pounds.
5,000 pounds. Yeah. So that's been really kind of a really big boost. You don't sit there and constantly follow it, but when you break it down over that long, it really.
Actually, it was funny how we didn't even realize it.
Yeah. We had gotten contacted by the Dairy Star, and he was asking us about it. And so then we kind of got looking into it more and didn't actually realize that it had gone up that much. It happens gradually over time on the farm, but so no, that's that's about 5,000 pounds over 3 years. So we're really, really happy about that.
And that's per cow.
Per cow, yeah. So that means we're going in the right direction.